Good evening, YouTube, Facebook family, Google. Welcome to another edition of Joe's Politics 101. I know you noticed that my little effects have changed a little bit. I thought I would add a little bit of something different. You know, I usually be sitting in my little cubby hole with the purple wall. I thought I'd kind of move it around because I'm in the process of building me like a little studio man cave where I can get away from the humdrum of the house and the wife and the grandkids and whoever might be over here sometime when I want to be real creative. I've got me some new equipment, and I'm going to set up me a small studio and produce my YouTube videos in it, you know, in my spare time when I'm not doing anything or I feel like doing it. I guess that's an advantage to being retired, as some people would say. But tonight, which is what's the date here? I don't even know it. January the 18th, 2013. I want to make another post before the weekend. I know I'm going to be tied up watching the football games and the inauguration balls and all of that stuff for the next few days. Martin Luther King's birthday and all of those good things are coming up. So we got a weekend full, a full weekend of everything that we want to celebrate that represents America. You know, the American values, our democracy is at work. You know, and hopefully after the inauguration and President Obama takes his new term, we'll come together as a country and get rid of some of these petty arguments that we're having, things about the Second Amendment and health care and all of these things that's going on that's really pulling our country back down because people are not agreeing to work with each other in our politics, in our country, in our nation. The people that we elect in our districts to send to Washington, D.C. to represent us are not doing their job. And that's just a, you know, straight out bottom line. And, you know, I was watching, which I've known this all along. I wrote a book called Radical Republican Tea Party that I published in 2010, December 2010. It was released. If you hadn't heard of it, well, I'm letting you know now. The name of the book is Radical Republican Tea Party by Joe Freeman. You can purchase it on the internet at Amazon.com or any of the online bookstores. You can get it. You can go to exhibitors.com and get it from there. It's 123 pages long. It's a decent read book, you know. Probably because I don't have the type of money it takes to really get out there and advertise a book. It's probably why you haven't really noticed it. But what I would like to talk about tonight, you know, and going into this weekend, is, you know, all of this stuff, you know, that we've had going on this week. You know, with this little guy Paul Ryan. You know, I've always said that an apple don't fall too far from the tree. Rand Paul fell off the tree, and I think he rolled a few feet farther than he should have from his old daddy. You know, because he's way out there. You know, I think I posted in one of my videos about a week ago a question that he was asked by Rachel Maddow on the Rachel Maddow show in 2010 when he was running to be a senator. About his thing was he think that businesses should be able to refuse service to anyone they choose to, you know, whether or not those individuals have did anything or created a disturbance or anything. Basically what he was saying is he's open to segregation, you know, and he probably feels that it's still a state right to do that to anyone in America. And I'm pretty sure in Kentucky, in some of the little small towns and little areas, you know, it wouldn't be safe for a Afro-American or some type of minority to go into that location. You know, it might be detrimental to their health or their well-being. But this week, old boy, he comes out with this nullification idea of anything that the president do an executive order on, that he was going to nullify it, that the states, you know, don't have to enforce those laws. You know, it's a funny thing about, you know, talking about nullification, you know, and states' rights. You know, we see a lot of things going on. We see all of this stuff with the abortion clinics, you know, which is to get an abortion, for a woman to get an abortion if she chooses to, is basically a constitutional right of hers. But you see people in these states like Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, all these different states who are invoking states' rights, making state laws to deny these women of their constitutional right to get an abortion. You know, and they preach about how the Constitution is supposed to protect, you know, or it come to the Second Amendment, you know, they want to impeach the president. They want to nullify any rules that he makes. Sheriffs in different states, Oregon and I think it's Tennessee and a few other states, you know, they said they won't enforce the law. Mississippi, you know, the governor's over there talking about they won't enforce the law. You know, the states don't ever do the right thing by its citizens. I've never known a state to do the right thing by its citizens. Not one state in this union that I know that have a Republican governor does the right thing by its citizens. You know, when you're talking about the Constitution protects your Second Amendment rights, okay, it protects your gun. Why can't it protect women who need or must get or must have an abortion? You know, just like you don't like the idea that a person's going to get an abortion. Well, in most cases, I don't believe most women want to get an abortion. They have to have their own personal reasons for that. And it's their right. You know, the Fourth and the Fifth Amendment, you know, that you're secure in your person, places, and things. That's what the Fourth and Fifth Amendment is about. Your civil rights. Your right to make a decision to do what you choose to with your body, with your person. That's the take I get out of it. Why are these state governments infringing upon individual rights, women's rights, the right to have an abortion if they so choose? So this talk about, oh, we believe in the Constitution, we believe in this, and we believe in that. Why doesn't it apply to the women? Why doesn't it apply to, you know, people's right to do what they choose to do? You know, old Rand Paul, though, this little guy probably should have never been elected to be a senator in the United States government. But not only that, the views. You know, we pay them guys a lot of money, you know. I wrote in my book, Radical Republican, about, you know, and this was in 2010. I wrote in there that, you know, we pay these guys $174,000 a year. They don't work nowhere close to the hours that we as regular citizens work. We go to work and work 8, 10, or 12 hours a day and earn way less. For most of us, it takes 4 or 5 years to make the amount of money that we pay these guys from our tax dollars to go to Washington, D.C. And then they come back to their districts. And I'm pretty sure this is every state. This is not just Louisiana where I live at. David Vitter or Mary Landrieu or Steve Scalise or any of the other representatives. You know, we elect them and send them to Washington. They come back to the state saying that they are working in the state. But you never look at anything in the newspaper or on the news that says that they're working anywhere in their community. I've lived in Louisiana for 25 years. David Vitter represents my district. Mary Landrieu represents my district. Steve Scalise represents my district. Not one time have I ever had a meeting where these individuals have come to my community or set up a situation to where the people in my community or in the surrounding community can meet them. The only time I saw David Vitter was when he spoke at a Tea Party rally in Covington, Louisiana, at the Justice Center, in front of the Justice Center. That's the only time I've ever seen or heard David Vitter. You know, we as American citizens, we don't pay much attention to these guys once we elect them. You know, we just kind of elect them and let them go on. You know, they get to Washington, D.C. and they do what they want to do. They don't ever consult us about anything that we are supposed to do. They get with the party, the Republican Party, and vote along party lines. And then the first thing that'll pop out of one of them's mouth is, oh, this is what my constituents want. Well, if your constituents have never seen you since you've been in office, what part of your constituency are you representing? You know, if you come back to your home district to work, people should know that you're back here working and what you're doing. You know, I know that David Vitter lived in Mandeville, Louisiana, which is 8 miles from where I live. And if he was going to have some kind of forum that would be inclusive of everybody in his district, I would know about it. My community would know about it. My neighbors would know about it. But you never hear that. But they're working when they back home. No, they're not. They're not working. They're home on vacation, doing what they like to do. They're not doing any work. You know, but I'm going to try not to feel all messed up the rest of this weekend thinking about this politics, because I do think about it a lot, because I'm a political junkie. You know, I'm one of them people that, you know, think that the people that we give a job to go and do something for us should be doing it. I'm a person who, if I take on a project, I'm going to do the best I can to make that project good. I'm going to do the best I can to make my clients and my people I represent happy. You know, I have friends, you know, and they just happen to be white, you know, that have watched some of my videos. And it's funny because they come to me and say, man, why you bashing people that's in the Republican Party? I am not bashing people in the Republican Party. I'm just telling it like it is. There ain't no bashing going on here. You know, bashing is when you're picking on somebody. I'm not picking on these people. What I say is fact. And if it ain't totally true, it's part and partial to the truth. So close to the truth that you can't hardly separate it. You know, I spend a lot of time reading, going over the news papers and going through stuff, trying to figure out, you know, why these people are doing this. You know, people always talking about cut the deficit. All right, they want to cut everything. Have you ever heard one of them talk about cutting their pay? That's some money that's being spent by the federal government. Have you ever one time in your lifetime heard one of these politicians say, well, let's give them back the $74,000 that we get on the end of our check, and we'll keep the $100,000. You know, how many of them guys up there? 500 and something. Man, that's quite a chunk. That's $74,000 times 535. That's a big chunk, baby. That's a big chunk of change that could go towards the deficit. Do they really need that much? You know, and then they get all these little perks. The gas is paid for, you know, all these little things, the cheap insurance. You know, it's just so much that we give them, and they don't appreciate it because they don't represent us. They're not, the Republican Party has not been trying to help govern this country at all. They just been saying, no, 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 no. We'll just wait it out, and we're going to beat this poor guy down. We're going to beat poor President Obama down to the ground. He'll give up. He'll give up. But he don't know President Obama is a resilient man. He's a resilient person. You know, all people that look like me, Hispanics, you know, we all are resilient. We have to be resilient. We've always had to be resilient to survive. You know, you can't just beat us down. If you don't murder us, we're going to survive. No matter how hard you try, we're going to survive. And the poor white man, he's going to survive too, because he knows how to hang in there. You just got to hang in there. And eventually, you'll scratch your way to some success. I want to wish everybody a happy weekend coming in here tomorrow. You know, that football's coming on this weekend, boy.